It's been a couple days since I asked for the questions from you guys about Ask Me Anything, and I was pretty much sitting in the same spot. I was going to do it inside the pool. It was cloudy earlier today. I had something set up and all of a sudden the sun came out. So I'm still going to be doing it in the same spot. So I've got the video popped up here on my iPad, and I'm going to go through the questions, and I'm just going to answer them just talking to you. And again, these are what I think. These are my thoughts. I'm not researching anything. I'm just going through the questions. There's an overwhelming response. I think there were 70 questions, or 70 comments on this. So thank you guys. Awesome. Can you comment on what brought you to EVs in the first place? What brought me to EVs in the first place was I had a 2008 Prius. I liked the car. It was a nice car. I was obsessed with using the battery so much. It was a small battery. It was not an EV. I mean, it was a hybrid, so it's not really an EV. That's what got me into this, thinking of the efficiency of a car, what it could be. And then once we moved down here to North Carolina, my wife was driving quite a bit. I was really looking at the safety of the Model S, and that's what really got me into Tesla. That's what really got me into this. What really opened up the doors to Tesla, and the love of Tesla. Each Tesla comes with LTE connectivity. What carrier is it? It's actually AT&T, and there's some changes to that, and I'm going to go over a whole video on what the changes are to the LTE signal and what you guys can expect for the ones that don't have their cars yet. What happens if you turn off the Bluetooth while you're moving, or remove the key card while driving? Well, the key card is really just there when you start the car once you're sitting down, and then you don't need the key card in that spot anymore. You can put it wherever you want to. But if you turn off Bluetooth on your phone, that's the Bluetooth connection to the car. If you're using it as a key, you'll still be able to drive. I did a video on this actually. You'll still be able to drive the car, but once you stop the car, put it in park and get out, you won't be able to get back in the car and move it again because the Bluetooth connection is not there. It has the weight in the seat, and that's how it keeps it going. How much does it cost to fully charge your Model 3, not supercharging? Well, here in North Carolina, we have Duke Energy. This house, we actually have 10 cents per kilowatt. It'll end up costing $7.50 if you were dead empty to full. And that's 310 mile range, 312 I got on the car. But you're not gonna get 312 because of air conditioning and heat in the wintertime. So if you had to choose between the Performance Model 3 or Performance Model S, which would you choose? It really depends. Am I paying for it? Then it's going to be the Performance Model 3. If I'm not paying for it, then it'll be the Performance Model S, and my wife would steal it from me. If Tesla didn't exist, what current EV would you own? Zero. No one would own any, because Tesla's the one who's been pushing everything forward. If EV/hybrids didn't exist, what car would you own? I would still have my F-150. I need a truck. I need to get a used truck now. I'm just going to get a cheap old truck. Love the car alarm video, such a trickster. Thank you. This question is about the regen braking. If you let off the if you let off the accelerator hard enough, if you pull off really hard, then the brake light does come on to let people know that you're slowing down pretty fast. If you just let off a little bit and you're still moving forward and you're just regenning just a little bit, it doesn't typically come on. It waits. I don't know the exact kilowatt hour it uses to trigger the taillights, but they do come on to let people know behind you that you are slowing down. You seem to be putting out a video every day. What do you do for a full-time job? This question came up quite a bit actually, and it's come up in the past. I'm trying to do a video Monday through Friday. I do have a full-time job. I own a furniture shop. It's just me as an employee though. I build iPad cash registers. It sounds funny, but using an iPad, you can, everyone's heard of Square. You can put a card reader in the headphone jack, and you can swipe credit cards through there. Well, I make a wooden iPad cash register for small businesses. I usually sell to salons, coffee shops, donut shops, things like that, small shops around the country and all over the world too. But I mostly deal with the United States. Because of shipping reasons, it's a lot easier. Because it's a finished product, things get damaged in shipping, and shipping's already really expensive. Jay Green, how many gallons does it take to fill that pool? This, I believe, was 20,000 gallons. It took 2.5 trucks when they filled it up. Did you learn video editing for this channel, or did you have experience? I had some experience with iMovie. I use iMovie. I'm a Mac guy. If you look in the very beginning videos, this channel used to be about cats. I used to breed exotic cats, Savannah cats, if you've heard of them. This was 9 years ago. Maybe even 10 years ago. And I would actually make cat videos, because that's all YouTube was back then, was cat videos. I would make cat videos to promote that business, and it actually worked quite well. We got pretty well known at the time for our videos and the way we did things. But I stopped making videos for a long time, and I just recently started them back up, obviously with the Tesla stuff. And I found out little tricks to do with iMovie and make it work until I move over to Final Cut. Hope you make it to the Model Y event. Thank you. I do too. Have you ever had range anxiety in your 3 or your S? I did in the S when we first got it, because a month after we got it, we went on a trip from North Carolina to Ohio for Thanksgiving. And that was the first long trip we did, and I was going through the mountains. So we had a little range anxiety, but it was quickly squashed. So don't worry about the range anxiety. You mentioned in the past you're a carpenter. Do you have any pieces to show us? If I do, I'll post them in the video right now. Most of the stuff I don't. I mean, I'll show some of the iPad stands I make, but most of the furniture I've made for myself, I don't really take pictures of it because it's here. I did make a motorized standing desk for my brother. That was kind of cool. Can you comment on typical cause of phantom drain? I don't really notice a phantom drain. I park in a garage, so I think a lot of the phantom drain people are talking about is the car cooling itself off. How do you feel about LeBron leaving again? LeBron, the t-shirt I wore for the last video said Cleveland, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm actually from Cleveland, the Cleveland area. If you're familiar with Cleveland area, I'm from Elyria. I grew up in Elyria. The back of that t-shirt actually said Kyrie and number 2. He's actually, I think he's a better player. Not a better player, I should rephrase that. LeBron is probably the best player, all-around best player in the league. Michael Jordan was a very good player, but he was more of a guard. LeBron can play every position. But Kyrie, when he gets fouled and they don't call it, he doesn't stop playing. I'll just leave it at that. What was your first electric car? The Model S. What's included if you don't have autopilot? It will include cruise control, but not adaptive cruise control. You will have just regular cruise control like a normal car, but you'll still have the safety features of the automatic braking. It'll still recognize the car because those cameras are still there. And it's collecting data for Tesla. You'll have the automatic braking and the cruise control. I believe that's all you get. Did you ever consider getting a Model X? No, it's too big and not efficient, and I don't need that big of a car. Is it GIF or GIF? I must know. Aren't they called memes now? They're not really called GIFs. What other maintenance is with the car? I show the cabin air filter. After 2 or 3 years, they want you to they want to flush out the fluid around the battery, the coolant around the battery. There's brake fluid, but you're really not using your brakes, so you don't really need to do anything with that. And rotating the tires. Really rotating the tires is the main thing that you need to do. And then after a while, the coolant will need to be changed. That's in the Model S for sure. I don't know what the scheduled maintenance stuff is for the Model 3. I probably should look that up, although I only have 3,000 miles on it, so I think I'm good for a little bit. The roof tiles. This question comes up quite a bit. Tesla makes roof, they're making the tiles, the solar tiles for a house, and they're embedded in glass. Why can't they embed it into the glass roof? They could. Fisker did that to their car. Tesla could probably do it a little bit better, but you're going to gain 3 to 4 miles a day of range. And you know, some people might say, well, that's 3 to 4 miles, that would be great, I'd love to have that, but you'd have to park outside for that, which means the car is going to be overheating, or it needs to heat itself up because the batteries are cold in the wintertime, and you're going to negate that 3 mile or 4 mile range with the car cooling itself off. So I think it's pointless. It really is pointless. Any suggestions on how to get my wife on board? This is a good question. This is something I struggled with in the beginning because my wife called me obsessed, just like your wife's calling you obsessed about the Tesla. She has to drive it. And I know you're looking at the 3, but you need to let her drive the S. You make an appointment for her to drive the S. My wife wanted a new car. We wanted a safe car because she was driving back and forth all those miles. And so I took her to a Mercedes dealership. I was going to take her to an Audi as well, but the Audi was, no one wanted to help us there. Took her to a Mercedes dealership, and she really liked the C-Class 3 something. I forget what it was. It was a tiny back seat and buttons everywhere. I couldn't believe it. There's buttons everywhere. I think there was buttons to activate other buttons. It was ridiculous how many buttons there were. We drove that. She drove that in the rain, actually, and then we left there and went straight to the Tesla dealership, at which I already had an appointment for. And she fell in love with it. It was a great sales lady. I forget her name, but great sales lady. We ended up having to go out to Raleigh, North Carolina to drive one because of other reasons in Charlotte. But as soon as she drove it, she absolutely loved it. And now she is a Tesla fanboy. So a fangirl, I should guess. I have t-shirts about that too, by the way. There's t-shirts like this, say fangirl and fanboy. Have you heard of any updates to the key fob for the Model 3? I haven't heard of key fobs for the Model 3. My key works just fine with the phone. I'll take it, but I don't need it. Does the whole windshield need to be replaced if you get a crack in the panoramic roof? No, there's 3 pieces. The windshield's separate from the center piece that's over the driver and the passenger, and then the 3rd piece is the big piece in the back for over the back passengers. I'm not sure if you already covered this. The cell phone with the key. I have an iPhone. iPhone works great with this. Android phones seem to be hit or miss. Older Android phones definitely have big time problems, but I have an iPhone 10. iPhone 10 works really well through that. My daughter's phone, she has an iPhone 7 Plus. I think hers is a 7 Plus. Hers works just fine. No issues whatsoever, so get an iPhone if you don't want any problems. I had to think about this one because you answer a lot of questions. Thanks. The little window in the trunk, there's the back deck lid, there's a little vent going into the trunk. A lot of people say that is for sound, for the sound system, because of the subwoofer in the back. A lot of people say it's for ventilation and cooling. I think it has multiple parts to it, just like Tesla. They do things a little differently. I don't know if you're aware, but I don't think it's for the sound system because I think the $35,000 car is going to have that as well. I think it's for the cooling of the trunk, so your trunk doesn't get too hot, because the front really gets hot. Just heard about an update for Summons. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm definitely doing an update to. I'm doing a video to that. Comparing the two, because of course the Model S has it. One more thing, the hood seems to be a tiny bit, the hood seems to be recessed a little bit in the front. The front's pretty even on mine. The sides are a little bit, is that normal? It could be due to a little foil effect for the aerodynamics, or it could just be trying to get the car done in time. If you go on a long vacation, what's the best to charge your battery? If you're not taking the car and the car is parked in a garage, keeping your car at 50%, 60% is a good plan. Depends on how long of a vacation. If you're going for a week, that's not a problem, but if you're going for a month, there is a way to deep sleep the Model S. I'm not sure if there's a way to deep sleep the Model 3. Right around the 70 to 60 when you leave, I think you'd be good if it's in the garage. A little bit. If it's outside, you might want to do a little longer. My question is to do with the Model 3 UMC and extension cord. I haven't plugged the Model 3 into the extension cord. I did a video on my charging stuff, and I did make an extension cord for NEMA 1450 plug. I haven't plugged this in though. I think someone did. I think Kim from Like Tesla, I think they did a video on an extension cord for the Model 3. I'm not positive. What feature do you wish the Model 3 had that it does not have? Air-conditioned seats. I would like air-conditioned seats. I think that would have been a good choice to have, the heated and the air-conditioned seats. And I don't know why they didn't. I know they needed the perforated seats, but I think they should have had that. Elon suggests lowering the tire pressure 10%. Actually, I just filmed that video today. I'm going to be editing that. You lose 2 to 3% range, which is only like 6 to 9 miles on a full charge for a better ride. So I'm curious to see what the video is like. I'm gonna leave a cliffhanger there. Stay tuned. I think it's tomorrow's video, so don't worry. How did you get into YouTube? Cats. Can you keep track of your miles driven for work easily? Kind of, but not really. There's other apps for that. There's other apps for that to keep track of all that. Better ways. Another question about the car alarm video. Was my phone triggered when the alarm went off? And yes, I forgot to put that in the video. I didn't notice my watch vibrate. When the alarm went off, I did get a notification on my watch and my phone. Good question, and I forgot that. Really like your videos? I really like your comment. Should I buy a used Model S or a Model 3, or wait for the Model 3? He's in Germany, so a big difference. In Germany. If you're in Germany, I would get a used Model S. Don't wait for the 3, because by the time the 3 comes out, you may want to trade in that Model S and get the 3. So don't waste your reservation. Love your videos. I love making them. Syncing the calendar to the Model 3. I don't know if you can. There's no calendar app in the Model 3, so I think eventually there will be a calendar app, and that will work with your navigation as far as getting in the car, and it knows where you need to go in the future, but not right now. When you pull up to a high curb, does the distance show on the screen? Yes. I hate scuffing my rims too. It does show distance if it can read the curb very well. But yeah, it'll show the distance between those. But it's always best to be cautious on that. When planning a route on the map, is the quickest route. On a long trip, the map is going to route you through superchargers. Not always the quickest route, but it's always going to route you through superchargers. If you don't need a supercharger, like we didn't need to go to a supercharger to go to Myrtle Beach, it'll just take you the fastest route. It won't let you go out of charge, if that makes sense. It'll route you through a supercharger if you need it. It knows based off of your driving and the weather conditions and all that stuff, so it'll route you that way. There are some people who are testing the Model 3 at 70 and 80 miles per hour. The wind noise. There is a little bit more wind noise on the highway that you don't really notice in a gas car because you have the motor in front of you making a bunch of noise, the tires making noise, the exhaust making noise. So you notice things a little bit more in the Model 3. It is quieter though, and of course you're going to have more wind noise when you're going faster. How much did it cost for insurance? This is a good question. The Model S was very expensive. The Model 3 was actually only $20 more per year than my Hyundai Azera that I traded in for it. So not bad. And Tesla's actually working on their own insurance, which is really good because the Model S is very, very expensive. I think for the both cars I'm paying like $200 a month. I think that's what it comes down to. Where do you want the channel to go in the future? Good question. Well, with your guys' help, I'd like to grow the channel. I'd like to get to the events. I want to bring you guys along to all the events. Obviously, I'd like to get as many subscribers as possible. I'm actually really close to 8,000 right now. I'd like to grow it. I've got some pretty big things planned that I'm gonna need some help with. My garage build, things like that I have planned. I want to get to the events. I want to go to those things. I want to do some really cool things with some other YouTubers, some Tesla YouTubers, and grow the channel that way. Get my style of video out there, the way I bring the videos to you guys, and answer the questions and meet a lot of you guys, if or ladies. Meet a lot of you as well. The Model Y will eventually be the biggest thing. Are you planning on getting a Model 3 or Model Y for the channel? That's what, 2 years from now. I'm not going to put a pre-order in for it. I'd like to see the car first. I like the idea of the Model Y. I may trade in the Model 3 for the Model Y. I'm not positive. I'm not going to buy it just for the sake of YouTube. I like the Model 3 right now, but you know, I may fall in love with the Model Y when it comes out, and especially if I get to go to the event and ride in it. So that may change my mind. And it looks like this is the last question. Does anywhere on the touchscreen show the date? No, it does not. It shows the time, but it doesn't show the date. Not that I'm aware of. Doesn't look like there's any more questions. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something. If you had any other questions, you can leave them in the comments below. There's a lot of other people that would answer them as well. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like me to do this again in the future, I am planning on doing a video going over all the customizations that I've done to the car. Kind of an update video on how things are working. It's gonna be one video of, you know, the stickers on the back, the tires, the front clear finish on the front, the tempered glass, and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna do a whole video on all that, and I also have, you know, a lot of other videos coming out. The new update with summons and Wi-Fi and all that stuff. That's gonna be an exciting one. Hopefully I get that soon. Hopefully I get that update tonight so I can actually record it. That'd be great. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for all those questions. It looks like there was 70 questions or 70 comments on there. 70 comments, there wasn't 70 questions. Some people answered some of the questions down there, but it looks 60 some questions on there. We went through a lot of them. I didn't go through all of them, and I skimmed through the questions, so if there was something I missed in your question, ask it again down below. Stay tuned for more videos, and if there's a video that you haven't seen yet, that I have a long list of videos, but if there's a video you haven't seen yet that you want me to do, leave it in the comments below as well, and I'll add it to the list. If it's already on the list, the video is coming. I've got a long list of videos, so I've got plenty of videos to do. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.